What a day, what a move off the high. If you watched last night's video, we talked about this massive range on the hourly time frame, how we expected that rotation. And boy, that Nvidia announcement last night, the export controls in China completely stole the thunder from these buyers. And now we have this massive reversal back down again. Tough day for the buyers. Great day coming tomorrow though, because the good news is with this big move off the high right now, we have setting up one of my two favorite trades are setting up for tomorrow morning. We have a crown reversal for sure. And if we're lucky tomorrow, if the trading gods are watching down on us, we might get a slingshot reversal tomorrow. These are two of my favorite all-time trades. If you know these, you know why I'm so amped up right now. If you don't know those two trades though, we're going to cover the entire roadmap tonight because you need to learn these entries for tomorrow. So charts are ready. Enough of the intro. We have a lot to cover in tonight's video. So let's jump right into it, get our setups dialed in, and go make some money on what should be a fantastic Wednesday session. S&P SPY ready to go tonight. Nasdaq triple Qs are ready. I have 3 clues on these charts telling us where I think the money is made for tomorrow. The first of 3 clues is here on the hourly time frame. We talked about this last night. Bullish move up on the S&P SPY into a trading range rotation. Down, up, down, up. And again, we had this thing pegged for that rotation higher, but that darn Nvidia announcement, it finished off that rotation. And we know how ranges work. They love to rotate. So right now, we're definitely bullish overall on the S&P SPY. I'm definitely not ready to call this a bear market yet, but we're now rotating down to the low of that range. And we know that ranges, they love to rotate back and forth. So that's a big clue there on the S&P, and one of the big reasons why a crown reversal, a slingshot reversal on my radar for tomorrow. The Nasdaq doesn't look as bad. Again, that Nvidia report is kind of buoying the Nasdaq right now. It looks the Nasdaq had a break out into a new trading range, and it looks like that range is holding up pretty well and looking for a rotation going higher here. So the S&P definitely very bearish right now, but I would not call this a bear market. I love the idea of that reversal going back up again. We'll talk about 2 entry tactics on that in a moment. The Nasdaq seems to be a bit different, but it's kind of an easier game plan on the Nasdaq. We're going to cover more of that in a moment. That's one, I know, a very long-winded clue here on the S&P and the Nasdaq right now. Second clue is over on the calendar for tomorrow. We have some big news coming tomorrow. Tomorrow is the first taste of the earnings from the end of the second quarter. It's called earnings season. We begin a 3.5, 4-week earnings season. We're right in that first week. You'll see there's a little bit of market cap reporting, but the bulk of this will come next week in the coming 2 weeks here. But tomorrow we get the first taste of some of the biggest earnings coming out tomorrow morning. ASML tomorrow morning, TSMC. If you follow the AI stuff like I do, like we do in our trade room, you know that ASML is a big part of the AI semiconductor supply chain. If they are showing strong demand, this could be the first domino for TSMC doing well. Remember, if AI is doing well right now, the whole economy is doing well right now. That's a big, big news report tomorrow morning before the open. And then later on in the morning tomorrow, have that PPI number at 8:30 Eastern time. This, of course, is the cousin of the CPI report. The CPI report is usually a bigger reaction because consumers drive the economy, but we definitely will keep our eyes open tomorrow morning, 8:30 Eastern time, around that PPI number. That's our second clue for tomorrow. Earnings, expecting volatility around the earnings reports tomorrow morning. The third and final clue, which really kind of brings this all together, is down on our tick charts. Remember, we don't trade time charts in the trade room. We like tick charts because they're based on transactions and they make entry timing a hell of a lot easier. And by the way, if you're watching for the first time right now, that is a 7,000 tick chart. All the time frames there, upper left-hand corner. And that moving average, my friends, don't overcomplicate this stuff. All we need is that 21 EMA to find consistent, reliable entries. There's one massive clue, and massive really is the word I would use to describe this right now. It's a big move down. Now, if you're a student of mine, you know that anytime we have a bullish overall market that we have right now on the higher time frame and a big move down right now, all of that momentum is going to want to pull back, retest that low before we resume the overall trend. This dynamic is extremely important that you learn at any level of trading. We're bullish overall on the higher time frame, not a bear market. All that momentum is going to want to pop up. Perhaps it might hold a bit of a breakout pullback zone off that range. It's going to want to retest that low before we get that green light to resume the overall trend. So because of this, this is why I said earlier, a crown reversal is just one trade on my radar for tomorrow. And a bit later on in this video, I want to talk about kind of the big kahuna reversal, the slingshot reversal. I know a lot of you guys love those patterns, so let's dive right into it here. A crown reversal pattern. Because we know that the odds are very good. Now keep in mind, it may keep going lower here. The bottom of that range is all the way down around that 59, 54 area. We may have some more space to go here, clearly 59, 54. We may not be done this move here just yet, but somewhere in and around this area right now, look for a way to trap in some of these bears. Crown reversals are going to wait for the bears to come in and try once, go higher, try twice. Now, this is the secret here. The secret is higher high in price and get in underneath a prior swing. If you understand the dynamics of the situation where the underbelly of these areas, there's a good chance this thing pops up and retest that low before we resume the overall bullish trend. So because of that, I do not want to be buying above that high. It's not like a typical bear trap. These are very specific entry patterns because of that dynamic of the retest possibility. So, like I teach in the free video classes, I want to see this one try, two try, a convincing green candle closing above that moving average. I will look for a quick one-to-one target, remove that risk, and hopefully, I'm wrong about this, hopefully it will just rip and run back up. But do not be surprised though, if it pops up, we get paid on our first profit target, and we see bears come in and whack that thing right back down again. Now remember, this sets up for another one of our favorite trades. It's a retest trade. Remember, anybody who sells up here, where's their profit target? Their profit target is where? It's at that low. Remember, this, I know we're pretty bearish right now, but these are the tick charts, right? This is not the higher time frame. The higher time frame says there's a ton of support down here. Anybody who sells up here, they're taking their profit, buying their way out of that position. What do you think? Is that a good place to sell? Please say no. Please say no. It's the last place you want to sell, which means it's a great place for a bear trap. Now, the bear trap on this one, I can be a lot more aggressive. If you're with us in our trade room, you know it's a retest trade. So bears try once, bears try twice. We're going to squeeze those stops. Remember, I can be a lot more aggressive on this one because now we've already completed that mission, that retest. Bear trap off the low. And I'll tell you right now, on a retest trade like this, you want to look for ways to add to your winner. And to do that, remember, it's always that shallow pullback. It's always that higher high in price. And the add-on is right below that low. So I mentioned earlier, one of my favorite trade for tomorrow is a crown reversal pattern. Crown reversals buy as low as we can, and we'll see. We'll get the one-to-one target. Maybe we get lucky, and it rips and gets a nice big paycheck. But be prepared, though. Be prepared for them holding the underbelly of that low, retesting that low. And again, I love that retest trade. Trap those rookies in, squeeze those stops, and add to your winner for that rotation back up into that range up overhead. Now, I want to talk about the second trade, the slingshot reversal, which if you know these, you know why I love those so much. Before we dive into the slingshot reversal though, let's slow down for 2 seconds because I know most folks watching right now, you guys know these patterns. You're making money with these already. But if you're watching for the first time right now, this might be a brand new language I'm speaking, a brand new strategy. Don't you worry though, I teach this entire roadmap in my free trading classes. In fact, I have a ton of examples of all of these entry patterns I'm talking about here tonight. Guys, the markets are way too good right now not to be making profit right now. So what I'll do is I'll put a little link up top here for you. Upper right hand corner, hit that link that popped up there and take that free trading course because the strategy I teach in that video series will teach you a simple trick we use in our members trade room that literally tells me exactly where the winning trades are going to be each day. More importantly though, we make our money by timing good entries. I want to teach you guys my 4 favorite entry setups. You'll learn crown reversals, you'll learn bear traps, you'll learn add-on entries so you can time better entries, make a lot more money. Guys, if you're still missing the best entries right now, if you've lost your confidence in your current trading strategy, what are you waiting for right now? Pause this video, hit that link to pop up right there and watch that free trading course. You're gonna love all the trading examples I include in that short video series. Best part is it's completely free for you. Also be aware too, guys, I'm gonna put all the important links below this video, the description of the YouTube video. Start first with that free video course. Everyone loves it. Most folks start making money all on their own, all from that free video series. Start there first, get your confidence back, get your P&L back in the green again. You're gonna love it. And if you're on Twitter or X, I post a ton of charts and videos and mindset stuff on the X platform throughout the day in between these videos. If you're on X platform, give me a follow. You'll love that feed during the day. So anyways, if you're here for the first time right now, that's where you wanna go, either up top, upper right-hand corner, or grab the links description of this video. Now, let's talk about a slingshot reversal because you know how much we love those. A slingshot reversal is oftentimes after a big move against the bias. Remember, this is a big move down. It's so important that we understand that dynamic. We're not a bear market. We're an overall bull market. This is a big move against the overall trend. That dynamic is a really big, that's why I'm so excited for tomorrow. Bottom line, slingshots. Oftentimes, when you get these big moves like this, especially before news comes out tomorrow, we get a big range down here. Now, ranges can be scary at first until you learn how they work. Remind me back in the hourly time frame again. What do ranges do? They rotate up, down, back and forth, right? We use things like triangles. We use things like pendulum swings, right? Basically symmetry above and below that trading range. And by the way, I talked this through a lot slower in more detail in that free video course. So if we are lucky enough, and I say lucky because these really are the easier ones to make money with, if we have a trading range down here, think about what happens if we run lower below that trading range. Think about this. We run into all of those lows at the low of that big range on the hourly time frame. What does that range want to do? It's a magnet. It wants to rotate where? It wants to rotate back up again. It wants to rotate roughly about the amount below the amount above. But here's what happens. This is what we call them slingshot reversals. When this thing rotates off of that low, what's going to happen is it's going to want to rotate not just off this range, but off the massive range we have on the hourly time frame. Oftentimes what happens is these slingshots, they bear trap, they basically fake out, break out below, they rotate off that low and they burn right through, they blast right through that pendulum swing on the opposite side. Here are 2 trades I want you to look for here tomorrow. If we see that trading range, I can be a lot more aggressive on this trade because that range will act like a magnet. So now we'll do is 2 trades. One is a bear trap down here. We don't want to sell down here. I know it seems very bearish, but again, we're overall bullish. Trap those inexperienced sellers who are not watching my videos yet. Let them try once, try twice. Think about this. What happens if you get stopped out of your trade right there? If you get stopped out of that position, you buy your way out of that position, right? Sellers become buyers off of that low. Now, don't forget to add to your winner. When markets rotate off the low of a range like this, we know where the market wants to go. The amount below, the amount above. That's the objective right now as it rotates back higher in agreement with the overall bullish trend. Mark off that high, find that low, and we add to our winner off of that low. Again, these are called slingshot reversals, and leave a runner, right? Leave a runner. Now, fast forward now. We now go sideways into a trading range. We break out, we bear trap, we slingshot. Now, watch closely. Watch for separation. If it begins to separate off that moving average, remember separation, this is why we use the 21 EMA. It's why I only use the 21 EMA. I don't want a bunch of indicators distracting me with all these voices in the back of my head. If I start seeing separation off that moving average, now we look for what is basically a breakout pullback off that trading range. Again, the goal is to rotate off that big range on the hourly time frame, and we're going to use this small range for the slingshot off the low and a breakout pullback off the high. If we're lucky, what will happen is we'll draw a trend line off these highs like this, bring it down around that low, and the goal here is to combine the low of that channel with the high of that trading range. I want to get around the low of that channel, ideally around the high of that range. It could easily be a bit higher. It's fine by me. I want to get below that 21 EMA. And again, just like that bear trap down here, let's trap those bears in right here. Bears try once, bears try twice. And really, guys, any of the entry patterns you guys are learning in the free video course can be applied off of that low, right? Makes sense? Now, very important. One more thing here. The breakout leg is the measuring leg, okay? The breakout leg is the measuring leg. If you want to make more money, hold on to your winners longer. Once we know how big that breakout leg is, then we can pin it at that low right there, and that will give us a good idea where that target is up overhead. Makes sense? So, slingshot, bear trap off that low, breakout pullback off that high. One last thing, right? One last thing here. And we'll talk about the Nasdaq here. The Nasdaq's a bit easier than the S&P is right now. One last thing here. Remember, well, I guess two more things here. Remember, that rotation goes both ways. So if we go sideways down here and we see with that news tomorrow morning, if it runs up and then runs back down again, please do not fall for this trap. All it is a rotation, right? A rotation. Now, with that rotation completed, same thing. Trap the bears in, slingshot off of that low. Be careful of that head fake off of that high. And also too, if we were to see a range down here and all we get is a breakout above the range, we know breakout pullbacks are the name of the game, right? That's the easy trade for tomorrow. One last thing here. If we were to, for example, V bottom right now, right? What if we V bottom off this low here? If it V bottoms off that low and begins to grind higher here, all we do is find that channel off the highs, off that low, and remember, look left, find some prior swings, and we're trying to buy that first pullback, right? So if we don't get the crown reversal, if we don't get that slingshot, I'll be a bit disappointed, but I don't control these markets, right? If we do V bottom off this, because again, we're on that big range on the hourly time frame. Remember, if it starts to grind up like that, find that new channel, mark off that low, and bear trap, add on, strength trade, all the entry tactics you guys are learning inside that free video course. Okay, so now we've kind of covered my two favorite trades for tomorrow and some variations I'm looking for tomorrow in our trade room. Now let's talk Nasdaq. Nasdaq is a bit easier right now because, as I said earlier, it definitely does look like the Nasdaq had a range up there. Now remember, ranges, they anchor the market much higher. So the Nasdaq seems to be, well, it's definitely more bearish. It's definitely more bullish than the S&P is right now. Pop up into a range. Remind me again, what do ranges do? They like to rotate. And it looks like we might have a channel coming up off that high. And it looks like that range right in the middle. Again, what do ranges do? They love to break out, pull back. So this seems like a great spot right now to be a buyer on the Nasdaq. Our biggest hurdle is we have that well, I shouldn't say darn, we have the ASML earnings tomorrow morning. That's the one big thing we got to be a bit careful with right now is those earnings reports tomorrow morning. Look at the Nasdaq tick chart. And again, you'll notice right away too, guys, that's a 4,000 tick chart. It's a bit different time frame than the 7,000 tick chart we saw earlier on the S&P. A couple of things right now on the Nasdaq right now. The most important thing is we see, first of all, a bull run up into that range right there. That range tells me two things. Well, three things really. One, it wants to rotate back to the other side of that range. That's one thing it tells me. Two, it tells me that the underbelly of that range will try to hold as a breakout pullback. Be aware of that aspect. And the third thing is the breakout leg. Remember, breakout legs are measuring leg. Breakout, pull back, breakout leg. That breakout leg, if we were to, for example, pull back and go lower here, that measured move, we don't know enough about it yet. We don't know how far that pullback will be yet, but that is the calculation for breakout leg, measured leg. That will be a great spot for possibly that crown reversal we mentioned earlier on the S&P. As of right now, though, let's not overcomplicate this. It's a bull range in an overall bull market. I have a nice deep pullback right now underneath some prior swings. If you watched last night's video, that should sound very familiar. Now, at this point, I have no reason to think the bears are as strong as they were on the S&P. So it's a simple bear trap. It's a bear trap and an add-on. Let those bears try once. Ideally, I would love to see two tries, one of them off that breakout pullback zone. Then think about now where all of those sellers have their stop losses. Let those bears try once, try twice. I would love a crown reversal, by the way. A crown reversal would not be required in this situation. We're not nearly as bearish on the Nasdaq as we were on the S&P, but I would not complain about that at all. I would not complain about a bear trap crown reversal. Remember, crown reversals are below that prior swing, right? That is where you do it. It makes a really big move down. A really big move down, we expect that rotation back to that low and then back up again. That's why crown reversals are necessary on the S&P. The Nasdaq's not in that situation, at least not yet. So bears once, bears twice, run those stops. And again, when I run stops, when you see these rotations working, right? When you see this thing begin to rotate to the other side of that trading range, we have to get out of the bad habit of just watching that trade go. I get it. A lot of us, we kind of get lost. We kind of become kind of a deer in headlights, right? When that trade starts working for you. When I was a rookie too, I was so happy to have a winning trade. I would kind of just stare at it the whole time. But it's so important though, when a market begins to rotate in a range like that, you've got to look for ways to add to your winner because they're so easy. They're so easy because we know now where this thing wants to go. So separation off that moving average, higher high in price. You want to add to that winner right below that low. And again, we know where the market wants to go, the amount below, the amount above. It's a bear trap, it's an add-on, and it's a leave a runner for that pendulum swing going lower. Now, remember, sometimes we don't get that bear trap down there, right? This is an unfortunate part about the way ranges work. Sometimes a range up here, sometimes it just whoop and runs right back up again, right? So sometimes we don't get a chance to trap in those bears. If we were to just V bottom like this, remember, like I mentioned earlier on the S&P chart, if it V bottoms and begins to grind higher, I do not want to buy way up there. I want to look for ways to buy low. If it V bottom, remember, find that new channel off those highs. And what do we say in these videos? Don't miss that first test is the best test off of that low. Now, I'm late on time right now in this video. I can't cover everything in these YouTube videos. I go into a lot more detail in the free video classes. But again, I want to be two things. I want to be below that low, ideally, not required, but ideally. And I want to see a nice strong signal coming off the low of that channel. First test is the best test on that V bottom reversal. And like I said earlier on the S&P, right? If we were to go lower, pop up and retest that low, remember, retest trades, they're scary, but that's why they work so well, right? So remember, don't forget about retest trades. I know they're scary because it feels like the world's coming to an end. Remember though, we're overall bullish on the hourly time frame. This is a tick chart, okay? Don't let the tick chart determine your direction. Use the hourly chart, the higher time frame chart, let that determine overall direction. I wish, by the way, I had a good setup to sell that, but we're not a bear market, we're a bull market. That is a 30% winning trade right there, right? Yes, some of them will work, but not enough. Remember, even a broken clock is right twice a day. There's no easy way to structure that entry short here. Most of them are gonna fail and go right back into that range up overhead. But if 3 out of 10 of those hold, and we do go back to retest that low, it's a retest trade, a double bottom retest trade. Bear trap, 1 try, 2 try, remember always a higher high. I want those bears committed. I want those stops to get hit. I want sellers to turn to buyers. That's a bear trap. And again, I know it's tough at first when you're new to this stuff, but don't just kick back and relax after this thing begins to put you in the green here. Find that higher high, get that separation off of that moving average, and add to that winner going higher from there. I'll tell you right now, I would not complain about this at all, right? We love retest trades in our trade room, right? Bear trap, add on, and let that thing run, because again, that big range we have above wants to rotate back higher again. And last but not least here, we'll wrap things up. We got big earnings tomorrow morning. If this was too big, a big move down here. If we see the earnings tomorrow morning, remember, Nasdaq, highly susceptible to volatility off the earnings. If we see a big move down off earnings, it's the same game plan. It's that same, not a regular bear trap, it's a crown reversal, right? It's a retest trade, or it's that slingshot reversal move I said earlier on the S&P, right? If we do end up getting crushed going lower, it becomes a slingshot or a crown reversal, the same game we mentioned earlier on the E-mini and the SPY. Whew, all right, that's the game plan. I'm getting goosebumps. I'm getting excited right now just talking about this stuff right now for tomorrow. Now, speaking of tomorrow, the place to be is in our trade room, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Guys, the easiest way to start making money in these markets is to learn and trade along every morning at the opening bell. You're gonna love every minute of it. I'll put all the important links, as always, down below the video tonight, description of the video. Start first with that free video course. Enjoy all those trade examples I share there. Then come join us in the trade room and we'll do it together. In the meantime, guys, be well out there. Be nice to each other, will ya? And you better be here next time. Adios, amigos. Bye for now.